So check out a review of the Profoto B2. Hi, this is JP Morgan and Professor Frank here at Sammy's, and we're talking about the new B2, and that's the Profoto B2. It's a great kind of portable pack and head setup. We're going to talk about what the capabilities of this little setup are and how you can apply it to your work when you're doing weddings or any kind of location type photography. So,
Exactly
Frank,
what it's
take
for.
us through this guy.
First thing you notice about any pack of this size is you can lift this one up with one hand. It has a small battery that's very quick to interchange.
You just pop the battery off the bottom.
Pop the battery off the bottom.
So you can have multiples of those. You can pop on there. That's really
Pop
nice.
the other one back on, and you're good to go. 250 watt-seconds of power will take up to 2 heads. Now this is light enough that you could actually attach to a camera for weddings, events, and other location work.
So when you say attach the camera, you're talking about like on this kind of a setup here?
Onto a proper
This
grip.
has got this actually is a great grip because this thing just sets on here, and this gives us the ability to pop this if you want to go from vertical. Of course, you'll dress this thing out, but the horizontal to vertical, which is a great little setup. I mean, this is a nice little grip, actually.
It's incredibly well made, and it gives you the ability to have a round light as opposed to a linear flash tube, which some people may or may not like. This is fantastic. You can still, from the head here, bounce the light off the ceiling. You have plenty of power.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, you have enough power. You're going to be able to shoot on something like this. You're not going to shoot most of the time. If you're doing weddings night, you're not going to shoot this at full power. You're going to dial the power back, which means this will go for a long time, I would
For
guess.
flash fill, yes, you'll go incredibly long. There are plenty of off-camera light modifiers for this that can be attached to this. So if you want to shoot in direct sun, still cut the light, plenty of ways.
So they call these their OCF modifiers. So like a little lighter weight and a little less expensive, a little more economical, but they're really made for this platform, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, what makes this such a great high-end piece of equipment?
The first thing, of course, is the high power. The fact that you can get at full power a 1.3 recycle time in the field is fantastic. 0.03 seconds recycle, up to 20 bursts in the burst mode.
So if you do a burst mode, you're doing 20. You get a really fast recycle if your power's down. That's fabulous. Well, that's why you need this kind of battery pack. I mean, versus you get a small, the small on-camera flashes.
Speed lights.
Speed lights are they're just not a lot of power there. You can't recycle fast enough to make them really work a lot of times.
And they cannot be modified as well as something like this.
Yeah, this really becomes a strobe platform where you have the ability to use grids on it and to use softboxes on it and to make it into a very, very much a strobe and pack kind of platform.
It's a true professional modular system.
Yep.
So you could do your portraits, executive portraits, outdoor wedding, events, once again, just about everything where you need power and control. This is it.
I feel like on these things you pay for just a couple of things. You pay for flash duration, you pay for recycle time. Because the faster it's going to recycle, the more expensive it's going to be. And
don't forget the compactability. This is extremely compact for a strobe of its size. It's extremely light compared to what we used to have.
Compared to what we used to have, Frank, I had a 4,800 watt-second Speedotron pack at one time.
Oh, my God.
You could have taken just the portability and the weight factor. This is like 2.5 pounds?
Tremendous, 2.5 pounds, and you're set. Add a few accessories, and you're still going to be under 5 pounds.
So how do you carry this around? I'm just thinking to myself, I'm going to put this on this bracket. I'm going to be doing weddings, and I'm going to be shooting all day long, and I've got to now come up with a way to carry this on my hip or something.
This comes with a very nice case that has a little strap lugs that you can also strap that around the other side.
So if I'm shooting a wedding kind of setup, I've got my flash head above the camera, which is where you want it to be, so it'll fill in the shadows nicely. You've got this, and you say there's a case for it. It's got a shoulder strap, so I can put that shoulder strap over my shoulder, and I can carry that as my power source.
Exactly.
Also makes it so that if you take this off the camera, and you want to get this as a rim light, or you want to get it off camera, which is really what everyone wants to do, if you just have something simple like a monopod, so you can take this bracket right out here, put it on your monopod, and now you can hold this up, you can get it over your subject, use it as a rim light, you can rim Frank's gray hair there, we can underlight Frank's beard, do anything we want with it. So So what kind of a price range are we into with this?
We're looking at $2,200 for the pack and head. Comes
Okay.
with a charger, battery, head.
So this is not an inexpensive entry point. This is really a pretty high end. This is an exclusive piece of equipment.
It's high end, but for what you're getting, the price is completely justifiable. I think you're looking at some of the other bigger packs at a higher price point, and you can't carry them around like this. So for the flexibility and the lack of weight, it's well within the price range.
So you're really paying for portability, you're paying for flash duration, you're paying, it does high-speed sync, which is really, I mean, you almost have to do that these days when you're shooting outside. It's the biggest problem that DSLRs have, that you've got that shutter that after 250 of a second, the curtain's gonna start to clip. So this will high-speed sync, which will allow you to do more of that type of work, which is a great look as well. So
The other key feature to this is their air system of wireless trigger. It can be TTL with Canon or Nikon cameras. So now you have the availability of TTL off-camera wireless.
that's really nice. That's perfect.
That's fantastic.
So let's talk about some of the other things. It's a power pack. You have the ability to use two heads in it, but is it asymmetrical? Is it all just going to split?
It is asymmetrical, so each head could be controlled individually.
So you can put one head in. I can run that at 225 watts. I can put another head in and dial that down and make
Down
that
to 125 watts.
less. Okay.
Ultimately, for headshot photographers, wedding photographers again, you want to do some control with the contrast, there you go, control.
Yeah. So that's great. Asymmetrical pack. I think the deal though with this really is that they have a two-head system. It's around $3,000, I think.
Correct.
And that $3,000, it gets you two heads, the pack, you have a car charger, you have an extra battery. I mean, that really becomes, I think if you're going to invest at that point, you just will step into that where you get two heads, you get the extra battery, you have the entire setup. I think that's the better value.
That's definitely the best
Yeah.
deal. Going on location, as we all know, you always want a little extra to take with you just in case.
Yep.
That's got
Yep.
it.
So this has this is the same Profoto head. So you can use all of your Profoto modifiers on here. Your beauty dishes, everything will go right on here.
That's correct. They're all
So
integrated.
the OCF is just that they're lighter weight.
Strictly lighter weight, a little
Okay.
bit smaller, made especially for this.
Well, that makes sense because you have a portable pack system here. You want something that's going to be lighter weight to be able to take with you on location. It's really meant to be that location kind of kit.
That's correct.
Okay. So there's a look at the Profoto B2. Great setup, and like I say, I think the value is really in that two-head kind of kit that you can buy. But
Exactly.
certainly the pack and head system is a great starting point. I think you need to get some kind of bracket to get it above the camera or off the camera completely. All right, so how many of these have you bought, Frank?
A couple dozen.
Well, that's good. I'm going to get at least that. So all the segments we shot in April are stitched together at theslantedlens.com, where you can see them there all as one continuous piece, or on YouTube, we'll release one of these a week. You can check them out there. So check the B2 review on theslantedlens.com. Also, our podcast, you can check that out at the iTunes. So check it out.